Welcome to Video 1, Introduction to Meaningful Counting. Counting is a seminal achievement of early childhood. Young children and their families often enjoy performances of the counting procedure as a way to demonstrate and celebrate learning. Counting is the first math procedure we learn. It is a mechanism with specific rules and words that vary from culture to culture. It has to be memorized and enacted with precision. Perform it correctly, and you produce new knowledge, an answer to the question, how many? As you will see, the counting procedure is complex and requires a certain amount of memorization and the management of a series of steps. For this reason, young children go through stages when they can enact the procedure, but may not simultaneously be able to focus on its purpose. That's why your goal as an educator is not only to help them learn to use the counting procedure, but to use it meaningfully. This module, Meaningful Counting, will help you to make sure they learn to count in a way that supports their understanding of their world. Through watching this video, you will study this procedure, becoming familiar with the 5 principles of counting. You'll also preview the developmental progression for counting and go over the 4 key instructional practices the module is designed to help you understand and implement. Let's begin with the basics. There are 5 principles or rules that define the counting procedure: stable order, one-to-one tagging, cardinality, order irrelevance, and abstraction. Mature counters know and implement all these rules in an integrated way every time they count. The stable order principle is that counting words must be said in the proper sequence without skipping any. That is, if you say 1, 2, 5, 3, 4, your counting procedure will not work. Similarly, saying 5, 7, 8, 9 will give you an inaccurate amount. The one-to-one tagging principle, also commonly referred to as one-to-one coordination, is that each item to be counted must be counted once and only once. If you miss items or count some items twice, your counting will give you an incorrect total. The cardinality principle is the rule that the last counting word said during the one-to-one tagging process is the total amount of the set. As we will see, there are points in the process of learning to count when this fundamental rule is not clear to children. The order irrelevance principle is that the objects in the set to be counted can be counted in any order. That is, you can count a series from left to right, or from right to left, or you can jump haphazardly from object to object. As long as every item is counted just once, your total quantity will be accurate. The abstraction principle is that anything can be counted. That is, we can count kiwi fruits, houses, and mountains, but we can also count things that don't have physical substance, like sounds, minutes, and ideas. Eventually, children will generalize that even numbers themselves can be counted, a realization that allows us to count how many pairs or sets of 5, or dozens, making it much easier to count large amounts of things. Module 2 focuses on the first 3 of these principles, stable order, one-to-one tagging, and cardinality, because they are minimum requirements for producing an accurate count. To become people who use counting to solve problems, children have to believe that this counting system actually works, and the best way to convince them is to give them experiences such that when they coordinate all 3 of these principles, their count will be accurate. The developmental progression for counting focuses on these 3 counting principles. It illustrates how the behaviors that demonstrate an understanding of each of these principles, stable order, one-to-one, and cardinality, typically develop. The next few videos address these 3 principles and will support you to build a helpful framework for thinking about how children learn to count. To help you focus on the most important things you can do to help children acquire these principles, this module introduces 4 key instructional practices for teaching meaningful counting. Model counting of perceptually subitizable sets, that is 1 to 3 objects, using slow, deliberate, one-to-one tagging and statements of cardinality. Observe how children count, ask questions to encourage the use of counting skills and strategies, and address counting errors with individualized instruction. Ask children to identify the cardinal amount after they count. When you count, vary 3 things. 1. Set size, subitizable versus not. 2. What is counted, for example, objects, pictures, days, sounds. And 3. Order in which you count objects. This module will help you understand how these key instructional practices help children develop their understanding of meaningful counting, and it will give you specific ways to make those practices part of your teaching. When you use progress monitoring, the routine, large and small group activities, and the game, you will make your classroom an ideal setting for children to learn how to count accurately and with understanding.